Hello, I'm Steve Lindberg. I'm a member of the Law Office Management and Economics Committee of the Illinois State Bar Association. We welcome you to this video on law practice management. We've all held different jobs in our lives. We've had different bosses. We've had different obligations that we need to meet, and we all have different ways of thinking about how we want to go about handling those particular jobs. We've expressed those opinions to many of our friends and relatives, and now guess what? You get to be the boss, and you get to run the firm, and you get to make those decisions. So you're watching this video to try to understand some of the issues that you need to start thinking about as part of your law practice management. And I've reached out to several members of our committee. We've come up with several brief topics we'd least like to mention, and then give you some resources at the end of this session to tell you how you can go about getting additional information in terms of managing your law practice. The first issue that we really would like to mention to you is trust accounting. Rule 1.15 went into effect January 1st of 2010 as amended, and that trust accounting rule provides that you cannot commingle your operating funds with your client funds. It also sets up where you deposit your retainer accounts and how you need to move forward with regards to retainer agreements. One big caveat, never use any client's funds for your business or personal use. That is the quickest way to discipline or disbarment. It is very important that you keep those funds separate. If you find yourself running into financial difficulties, reach out to friends or relatives. Don't be embarrassed. Reach out to a colleague, the mentor that you've been working with, or the LAP, the Lawyer's Assistance Program. But don't commingle the funds. You've worked far too hard and far too long to get to this particular point in time to make that mistake. Financial mistakes can be rectified. Mistakes of judgment can cost you your license, and it's just not worth it. Second issue is taxes. You'll be setting up different organizations, and you've probably already done some of those, but now you need to think about yourself. Are you going to be a proprietorship? Are you going to be, sole proprietorship, a partnership, or an LLC? And I would recommend that the LLC has some opportunities that maybe the others don't. However, no matter what you do, you're going to need to be paying your quarterly taxes. You'll be paying yourself as an employee. You may end up with some staff that you need to pay, and you'll have some FICA and FUTA and Social Security taxes that need to be paid out as well. Those get paid out on a regular basis. Our recommendation to you is to withdraw those monies from your operating account. Stick that into a separate bank account. That way it reduces the balance in your account. It doesn't give you an inflated view of what your cash flow might be. It gives you a realistic snapshot. So when the taxes do come due, the monies are there to be paid and you're able to move forward. You are personally liable for unemployment taxes and the FICA and FUTA. If you don't pay them, you personally will have to pay those to the government. It's not worth that risk either. That's why the separate account system works quite well. Budgeting. Large corporations do it. We recommend that all firms, solo or small, do their budgets. It's important to have an itemized line item of where you decide to get your income from and how you're going to be paying out your expenses. And it may not be right the first couple of years. It's trial and error. But you need to have something down on paper that you can then mark and use as a benchmark towards your future growth and expenses. One of the things bankers are going to want to see are your budgets and pro formas in terms of how you're moving forward in case you need any credit down the road. Budgets will help you manage your firm much more effectively. Staff. When you think about it, as we talked about earlier, you were an employee and you've had bosses, but have you ever thought about the appropriate questions to ask during an interview? What am I supposed to do when I hire a staff member? Do I do any type of background checks? What happens if I have a bad staff member? How do I discipline that staff member? And how do I go about terminating that staff member without creating any type of undue consequences towards the firm or myself? There are many books and articles out there that will help you with that. All of those topics are separate topics that will take hours for us to explain. However, something you need to think about as part of your law practice management before you deal with staff. Learn the issues before you start interviewing. Learn the issues before you start hiring some of your staff members. And finally, you need to be at the top of your game. You need to be mentally alert, free of drugs, free of alcohol, and you need to be physically able to handle the rigors of the law practice. Not only going to court, but also dealing with the clients and dealing with the staff. If you bring a bad attitude from home into that office environment, you can easily polarize your staff members. You can misuse the asset to the point where the staff members will leave you. You will then have no one to process the work, and before long you may run into problems with clients. So you need to take care of yourself. And depression is very large among lawyers. Substance abuse, as we all know, is pretty prevalent throughout our society. Try to stay away from that, and if you do run into problems, seek out professional help or the Lawyers Assistance Programs of the state, as well as your local bar associations. That's what they're there for. We don't want to see anything impede your ability to practice law or to take care of our clients. So where do I go for help? ISBA. The first issue is on Lawyer Now. Every Wednesday we'll see a column published by the committee, the Law Office Management and Economics Committee. Take a look at that, see if it fits any needs that you might have. Secondly, join our committee. We publish a quarterly newsletter, and there are articles of all sorts of topics dealing with law practice management. Our committee is made up of a variety of members from different size firms. We're there to help you. You can email us and we'll be more than happy to be responsive to you in terms of either pointing you towards resources or perhaps even answering a question that you might particularly have. Society of Human Resource Managers, SHRM. Excellent organization. You might want to either become a member or start reaching out and getting some of their materials. But SHRM provides a wealth of information dealing with employee issues. The ALA, the Association of Legal Administrators, is an association comprised of legal administrators who have the same problems that you have. Yes, you may not have a professional legal administrator, but they face the same problems that you face in a small firm. Reach out. They have a ton of articles and some fantastic educational sessions as well. Other bar associations, the ABA Law Practice Management would be an excellent resource for you. Local bar associations provide, some of them have law practice management committees, and you should be attending those and gaining additional information and reaching out to other members of the bar in your locale to say, how do you go about managing your firm? Again, we're available. I know the bar associations are available. The bottom line is that we want you to succeed. We want you to be able to develop your client base and to be able to deliver good and excellent service to your clients. So if you need any assistance on this, please reach out to us at the ISBA. Thank you for your time.